So all of a sudden your baby is taking short naps, they're fighting naps, they're having overnight wake-ups, they're waking at the butt crack of dawn. I'm gonna tell you exactly why this is happening, and this is not what you're expecting to hear. It has nothing to do with wake windows, sleep routines, sleep pressure, or any of that, but it does have to do with the exact moment that your child wakes up first thing in the morning. First things first, your baby is born without a circadian rhythm. And over the first several months of their lives, their circadian rhythm is developing. Now, what does that mean? It's like their internal clock. When their body knows wake time is awake time, nighttime is nighttime, nap time is nap time. But did you know that the strongest signal for sleep versus wake cues is light? Yeah, you heard me. It's the light. Not you going into your child's room and singing sunshine. More or less, the stronger the light cue, the better your child's circadian rhythm will adapt to day versus night. Without strong morning cues, your child's circadian rhythm is likely going to be inconsistent. That's when nap times become unpredictable. They might be having short naps, they might be skipping naps because their body just doesn't know when is it time to sleep and when is it time to be awake. So there's been a lot of research done in circadian biology. And what morning light exposure does is it helps with the melatonin production that happens later in the day. The melatonin production is the sleepy hormone. So that is your baby's cue that it's time to go to sleep. So light in the morning actually equals melatonin at night. If that is still confusing, we can break it down a little bit further. Light in the morning is actually telling your baby's brain it's time to be awake. We are not making any more melatonin because it's time to get up. It's wake time, it's playtime, let's get up and start the day. As the day goes on, their body starts recognizing that it is getting darker, naturally darker outside. That's when their body starts producing melatonin, that sleepy hormone, and tells their body it's time to wind down and go to sleep. So consistent light and dark patterns is actually telling your child's brain when to be awake, when to produce melatonin, and that we can consolidate sleep for naps and overnight. Now, here's something that can be a little bit difficult, especially if you live somewhere like me, like upstate New York, where during the winter time, natural light is actually hard to find. We don't get a lot of sunshine here in the winter, but natural light, natural daylight is better for your brain or your baby's brain than artificial light, which kind of sucks. But that's why you do see a lot of those sunlight lamps that try to mimic the actual daylight. But whenever you can get real natural light, it's going to be better for everyone's brain than that artificial light. So how is this going to help with making naps longer? I tell all my clients to do this first thing in the morning. Before you even change your child's diaper, obviously unless they've totally soaked through. You want to say good morning, get them out of their crib, and open the curtains in their bedroom. You are going to say, good morning, baby. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, birds. Good morning, trees. Good morning, grass. Good morning, whatever you can see out their window. Have a little morning ritual and then get them changed and ready for the day, and then you could do their breakfast / first feeding of the day. For that very first thing in the morning light exposure, a couple minutes is fine, but once you get all your routines done is when you want to try to actually get outside. 20 to 30 minutes of light exposure in the morning is ideal. So this can be a stroller walk if you have a very little baby. If you have a toddler who is on the move, you can go outside and have some backyard playtime. If it's the middle of winter and you can't go outside, obviously nobody's forcing you to go outside, but you can sit by a bright window. If we have a room in the back of the house with a big sliding glass door and the sun comes right in that room, and we literally lay in the sunbeam and we have a little cuddle session in the sunspot. Now, that's not something that I have done purposefully because of the light exposure and how good that is, but after we've been like doing it for a while, in the winter especially, we're like, oh, sunshine. The sunshine is literally good for everyone and it just puts you in a good mood. So why not? It's a win-win situation, helps everybody in the house get better sleep, and brightens your mood. Now, if light exposure isn't something that you have been conscious of or something that you've been thinking about working on, and your child is struggling with all of those short naps, skip naps, night sleep trouble, early morning wake-ups, then focusing on some of these ideas would be something that you need to do for 1 to 2 weeks in order to see consistent change in their sleep habits. This is not something that's one and done, let's go outside today and have a better nap today. It needs to build on itself, and your child's circadian rhythm will take a little bit of time to adjust. It's also similar to daylight savings time. When the time changes and the amount of daylight changes, you're going to notice differences in sleep patterns and when you're feeling tired during the day. So this is similar in the sense that you need to give it a week to 2 weeks before seeing the actual circadian changes. So on the flip side of what we talked about with the morning routine, I also do the opposite during the bedtime routine. When it's time for bed and you've gone through your routine, you are going to close the curtains. You're going to say good night moon, good night stars. What's the rest of the book? Good night air, good night people, good night noises everywhere, or however the book goes. You don't have to read good night moon. But everything that they're saying good night to is something that you should be doing in your routine. This is not only helping your baby understand routines, but it's also helping their body and that circadian rhythm get into the muscle memory of this means it's bedtime, trigger melatonin. So say goodnight to all the things outside, close the curtains, and then say goodnight to everything inside and turn off the light. Then you can have your quiet cuddle time for about 5 minutes before putting your baby in the crib so that their eyes are adjusting to the light/no light. And then you can put them in the crib while they're still awake. They can fall asleep on their own, sleep beautifully through the night, wake in the morning, open the curtains, say good morning, and so on and so forth. The cycle repeats. If you've done all these things and you don't think light exposure is your child's sleep problem, then you probably have some other sleep association issues. If you're feeding to sleep, rocking to sleep, I swear if you tell me you're bouncing on a yoga ball to get your baby to sleep, I'm gonna come over to your house and I'm gonna pop it myself. Mostly kidding, but have I done that before on an in-home consultation? Yes, I have. I took the pin right out of that exercise ball and I said, we're not bouncing on this ball to get your baby to sleep anymore. But what we will do is teach your baby some independent sleep skills. So it's probably time to book a consultation. Head to the link in the description box down below to book your one-on-one consultation and keep blooming. Mwah.